The village of Uduka was a sanctuary. Nestled amidst rolling hills and fertile lands, it was a place where life was simple and the people were kind. Laughter echoed through the marketplace, and the aroma of freshly baked bread wafted from every home. The villagers lived in harmony with nature, their days governed by the rhythm of the sun and the seasons. But beyond the borders of their peaceful existence lay a shadow, a place of mystery and fear that haunted their dreams. The Forbidden Forest, they called it, a sprawling expanse of ancient trees and unknown dangers. Its borders were shrouded in mist, and the villagers spoke of it only in hushed whispers. The forest was more than just a collection of trees. It was a living entity, pulsating with an energy that both fascinated and terrified the villagers. Legends were woven into its very fabric, tales passed down through generations, each more chilling than the last. The elders warned of venturing too close, their voices laced with fear and respect. For the forest, they said, was guarded by a powerful spirit, the protector of its secrets and the guardian of its ancient magic. Nduka, the villagers called him, a name whispered with reverence and dread. He was a legendary warrior, they said, who had given his life defending Uduka from invaders. The earth itself had swallowed him whole, they claimed, taking him into its embrace and transforming him into a spirit guardian. Nduka's spirit, it was believed, wandered the forest paths, his watchful eyes missing nothing. He was both protector and punisher, ensuring the forest remained untouched and its secrets undisturbed. The villagers spoke of his wrath with trembling voices, recounting tales of those who had dared to defy the forest's sanctity and had paid the ultimate price. The forest was more than just a collection of trees. It was Nduka's domain, a sacred ground where the veil between the spirit world and the human world was thin. It was a place of power, where the air crackled with unseen energy and the whispers of the wind carried ancient secrets. To venture into the Forbidden Forest was to invite Nduka's wrath, to tempt fate and risk incurring the anger of a spirit sworn to protect his domain. It was a risk no villager dared to take, for the fear of Nduka's vengeance was deeply rooted in their hearts. Emeka, a young hunter known for his skill and courage, found himself caught in a desperate predicament. A harsh drought had gripped the land, withering crops and leaving the villagers teetering on the brink of starvation. His family, like many others, was struggling to survive. Their once abundant stores of food had dwindled to almost nothing. Each hunt returned with emptier hands, and desperation gnawed at Emeka's heart. The laughter of children had been replaced by the gnawing pangs of hunger. The once vibrant marketplace was now a somber gathering of gaunt faces, their eyes reflecting the fear that clutched at their hearts.
One evening, as Emeka sat beside his wife, her frail hand clasped in his, he made a decision. He knew the risks, knew the ancient taboos, but his family's survival outweighed his fear. He would venture into the Forbidden Forest.
That night, under the pale glow of the moon, Emeka revealed his plan to his wife. Her eyes widened in fear, and she pleaded with him to reconsider. But Emeka was resolute. He would face any danger, any consequence to save his family. Armed with his spear and his father's hunting knife, Emeka stepped across the boundary of the Forbidden Forest. The air grew heavy, the silence broken only by the rustling of leaves and the distant cry of a bird. The forest floor was a labyrinth of gnarled roots and decaying leaves, the sunlight struggling to penetrate the dense canopy above. Days turned into nights, and Emeka ventured deeper into the forest, driven by desperation and the faintest glimmer of hope. He had heard whispers from his grandfather, tales of a rare fruit that grew deep within the forest, a fruit said to hold magical properties. The golden ube, it was called, its skin shimmering like gold dust, its flesh said to be sweeter than honey and more nourishing than any other food. Just as his hope began to dwindle, he stumbled upon a clearing. And there, in the heart of the Forbidden Forest, stood a tree unlike any he had ever seen. Its branches were laden with fruit, their golden skin glowing softly in the dappled sunlight. The golden ube.
Emeka's heart pounded with a mixture of awe and trepidation. This was what he had risked everything for, the answer to his prayers, the key to his family's survival.
But as he reached out to pluck a fruit, a cold wind swept through the clearing, and a voice, ancient and powerful, boomed through the forest.
Who dares to steal from my forest?
The voice thundered, echoing through the trees. Emeka froze, his blood turning to ice in his veins. He had been discovered.
Slowly, he turned to face his accuser, his heart pounding in his chest.
Standing before him, partially obscured by the mist, was the imposing figure of a warrior. His eyes burned with an ethereal light, and his presence radiated an aura of immense power. Nduka. Emeka knew instantly who stood before him.
Forgive me, great Nduka. My family is starving. I meant no disrespect. I only wanted to save them.
Nduka's gaze pierced through Emeka, reading the desperation in his heart, the love for his family etched on his face. The spirit sighed, a sound like the wind whistling through a canyon.
Your intentions are pure, young hunter, but the laws of the forest are absolute. No one may take from this sacred ground.
Days turned into weeks, and Emeka did not return from the forbidden forest. His wife, her heart heavy with dread, gathered the villagers and told them of Emeka's plan, of his desperate gamble to save his family. A group of brave hunters, their hearts filled with grief and a sense of duty, ventured to the edge of the forest, hoping against hope to find some trace of their lost companion. They called out Emeka's name, their voices echoing through the silent trees, but the forest offered no answer. They returned to the village with heavy hearts, their faces etched with sorrow. Emeka was gone, lost to the forest and the wrath of Nduka. The villagers gathered in the center of Uduka, their heads bowed in grief, their voices united in a mournful chant. They would honor Emeka's memory, they vowed, and pray for his soul. A wave of fear and sadness washed over the village. They knew the risks Emeka had taken, knew the consequences of defying the forest's sanctity. They mourned him as lost, another soul claimed by the forest's embrace. Just when all hope seemed lost, a faint cry pierced the morning mist. A young boy, tending to his family's goats near the edge of the forest, stumbled back to the village, his eyes wide with fear and excitement.
He had seen something, he stammered, a figure lying near the edge of the trees.
A surge of adrenaline shot through the villagers. Could it be? Could Emeka be alive? A group of villagers, their hearts pounding with a mixture of hope and trepidation, raced towards the forest, the young boy leading the way. And there, lying unconscious near the very spot where he had vanished weeks earlier, was Emeka. He was weak, his body ravaged by hunger and exhaustion, but he was alive. A collective gasp of relief and astonishment swept through the villagers as they carried Emeka back to the village. When Emeka regained consciousness, surrounded by his worried family and friends, he recounted his tale. He spoke of his encounter with Nduka, of the spirit's wrath, and his unexpected mercy.
Nduka, he explained, had spared his life, but not without a price. The forest, Nduka had warned him, was not to be disturbed. Its bounty was not for the taking, its secrets not for mortal eyes. Emeka had been spared as a warning, a reminder of the forest's power and the consequences of disrespecting its sanctity.
Emeka's tale sent shivers down the villagers' spines. Nduka was real, his power undeniable. The forest was not to be trifled with. Emeka's survival was a miracle, a testament to Nduka's mercy and a stark reminder of the delicate balance between the human world and the spirit world. Life in Uduka slowly returned to normal. The drought, as if in answer to their prayers, finally broke. Rains came, replenishing the parched land and breathing life back into their crops. But Emeka's experience had changed them. The forbidden forest was no longer a distant threat, a whispered legend. It was a tangible presence, a reminder of the unseen forces that shaped their world. The villagers never again dared to enter the forest. The memory of Emeka's tale of Nduka's wrath and mercy served as a powerful deterrent. The forest remained untouched, its secrets safe within its emerald embrace. And so the legend of Nduka, the guardian spirit of the forbidden forest, continued to be passed down through generations, a tale whispered around flickering firelight, a reminder of the power of belief, the importance of respect, and the enduring mystery of the world that lay beyond their own.